What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Yards Per Fantasy Personalized Podcast. And this one is for the King of Kings League, which is ever so suiting because this was ordered by the real Michael Jordan, 6-time NBA champion. I don't know, are we lucky, guys?
Absolutely.
But anyways, yeah, we're going to get, first off, before we get this going, I got to give a shout out to our director of content, Matt, and say, 9 o'clock on the dot, eat it, bro. All right, let's go. Other than that, we're just going to get right into this. We're going to go through each team alphabetically that they are on the website here. I know you guys use a salary cap. That's kind of a funky setting. We might touch on it a little bit, when we're into individual teams. But overall, we're probably not going to hit that too hard because that is a whole nother wrench that none of us ever play with. So we don't want to say anything that, maybe misguided. Yeah, so we're going to go through one by one, tell you what we like, dislike, go through your team. At the end, we will go through each person will probably give, a couple teams they like the most and who they think will win it all. Other than that, we're going to just kick it off here at the Baltimore Ravens. And who wants to get going?
Who wants up?
Dennis.
I'm up. All right. Well, I kind of went through and went full teacher mode and gave GPA rankings for every position room.
Oh yeah, this is what he does. Don't feel like you weren't prepared.
I didn't come up prepped at all. That's what we're on.
This just helps me. It helps me be objective. Like I said, I'm full in the swing of things. So Mahomes and AR at QB. I don't know how you can do better than that. That's a 4.0. That's an A. Like it's an A+. Like that's just insane. And then Saquon, Pacheco, Swift, B-Rob. That's pretty solid. End up going with a little bit of a B+ there just because I'm high on Saquon this year. I think he behind that line is just going to crush. Wide receiver room, that's a bit of a C+ there. Obviously, JJ is phenomenal. Love him. But it kind of drops down. I love Odunze. Probably not this year too much as production-wise. But Rice and Ridley, again, Ridley with the age and kind of the up and down nature last year. Rice, that looming potential suspension. That runs a little bit suspect. And then a really good tight end room. Kittle, Bowers, Ferguson. I give that a 3.7. So an A-, real solid overall, 3.425. And then these guys know I love putting in little gifs or memes or something like that. So the QB room is are you not entertained?
Perfect.
What more could you want other than Mahomes like that? The example of consistency, and then AR like, holy cow! What if he guy?
It almost feels like a waste in a 1 QB league.
Well, yeah, that was going to be my comment in this. Is like it being a salary league. Like, what are we doing with Mahomes and AR? Like, I'm never suggesting you trade Mahomes, but like with the wide receiver room you have, I get you have JJ, but like, let's get AR off while he's at $8 million to a good roster. You can't get some good return on. Like, I'm not here to make suggestions, but I'm just saying.
No, you are here to make suggestions. That's exactly the point.
That's your job.
That legit was a good point about AR because he looks cheap. I mean, once again, we don't want to say anything like misguided on the salary stuff, but from a quick perspective, he looks like he's a really good value. And since you have Mahomes, you don't need him. So yeah, I'd be down to trade him if I were you. With the selling point of he's only $8 million. Now, one caveat we always say when we do these is we're telling you to do this in front of everybody else. So it's like you kind of lose some leverage if you walk in and say, dude, Anthony Richardson's only $8 million. Am I right? But still a thought.
I mean, he has as high of a ceiling as any quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where it's at. But I just think if we're talking salary, Mahomes is probably locked in there for a good bit.
Yeah. I mean, on the other side of that coin, though, in a 10 QB league, there aren't a lot of QB needy teams. There's one for sure, but
I was about to say I saw a couple that could.
That's a good point.
I mean, I say it's also kind of like a bully strategy too. I mean, you could have the top 2 quarterbacks in the league potentially, at least 2 of the top 5 by ADP.
Right. I think you're spot on about wide receivers. You got JJ. It's kind of, not the strongest for that. You got some decent depth, but I still would want I would want that second guy to be a little stronger. And the one thing I do like about this team is I would trade a tight end if I were them. With the premium, there is value there, and you can't start all 3. So I don't know. I don't want to leave. I don't want any of those guys just sitting on my bench.
The first 2 touchdown game from Ferguson, you got to put him on the block.
See ya.
He's the fakest tight end in this room for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it depends on where their long-term strategy looks. You have Mahomes and a couple other star powers. You're looking to go now, so I don't think it really matters.
One thing about JJ I've been seeing recently, people are like, well, he's going to have an Adams-like season from last year where he has like 180 targets, but they're such dog shit targets that his production's way lower. What do you guys think?
If that's the case, that means the Vikings suck, which means there's going to be a shitload of garbage time for him. And cool, sign me up.
He's going to, all those years, DeAndre Hopkins in Houston with all those quarterbacks, Brock Osweiler, he never missed a beat. I don't think Justin Jefferson will either. His ceiling may not be quite as high as what it once was, but let's also not pretend that Kirk Cousins is, Peyton Manning out here either.
Yeah.
It's fair.
All right. I'm on that same page too, for sure.
Just gonna move on to before we move on to the next team. I just want to say he does a pretty good job for a dynasty team to have like that next guy up for his older guys. Like he's got Ridley in his roster, but he's got Romo Dunze, who's going to take a couple years to develop to what he's supposed to be, but who I think can get to that point. And then same thing with George Kittle, who's an older tight end. He's got Brock Bowers ready, rocked and loaded. So I got to give him respect for that for sure, for having like the older part outside of Saquon Barkley to be able to immediately replace.
He's legitimately 6 deep at running back that could potentially be playable this year too.
Oh yeah. Brian Robinson. Yeah. Brian Robinson has to be one of the most undervalued running backs.
I love him this year.
Yeah. I've never been a Brian Robinson guy, but he's going in redraft leagues, he's going 10th round. Easy.
You want running backs paired to rushing quarterbacks, and he's going to be on the field when they're running hurry up Cliff Kingsbury stuff. And are they going to be putting Eckler out as much as we think? I don't know. But Brian Robinson's going to be the dude when they're running the ball.
Yeah.
And if you're scared of Daniels, it's only going to help him. Yeah, I love him where he's getting drafted. But
my biggest concern is that O-line. I'm a big fan of Mina Kimes. Listen to her pod every week, and she has been laboring how much she likes Daniels. Super excited. That offense seems cool, but that O-line terrifies her. So, not that necessarily hurts the running back, like O-line.
Well, it does.
It's gonna be scheme, but
yeah,
it's definitely not a plus. You know what I mean? Like Gibbs gets boosted because he plays for Detroit in that O-line.
If I had one concern with Brian Robinson, he plays not very good. But
that too. But he got shot twice. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Did he? Really?
No, it's wild. He got shot right for the season and came back.
Can't believe I've never heard that one.
I know.
All right, let's kick it over to the Buffalo Bills, right? Wouldn't be the Buffalo Bills without Josh Allen.
Classic.
My first thoughts on this team is you have and I notice on the website most people's lineups aren't set yet, which is fine.
Yeah.
But once this one is slotted in, this is a powerhouse. I don't care if there's a couple of weaknesses here. You roll into every week with Josh Allen and Christian McCaffrey. You are you're good to go. You're going to compete. It doesn't matter. Those two are the pinnacles of their position that when they're firing, you can't touch them. And if you go in, if things play out the way we think, you could be sitting on 50 points a week for free almost right off the bat.
Yeah, teams. Go ahead, Dennis. Sorry.
No, all you.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I mean, I think especially in these 10-team leagues, we get down to it, like maybe 12, you kind of worry about like depth-wise though. But like if you're in a 10-team league, you have Josh Allen and Christian McCaffrey, you're rolling from there. I mean, you have additions, although Diggs is down. I mean, he's still a piece. Sitting on the bench, you got Jalen Waddle and Dalton Kincaid who could be slotted in for this and these like flex spots with the tight end premium. Like this team's got the pieces to make a pretty good push, depending on how it goes. I mean, the bench has some holes that could be fixed, but like for the most part, this team looks pretty locked and loaded as long as they can stay healthy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan here. Running back room is like behind McCaffrey is what I would say is the weakness.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't really like Joe Mixon this year. And other than that, Chase Brown's got really nice upside. There's just so much still muddled there. I do love Roschon still, but I would want, if anything, I would maybe try and trade a receiver for another like middle tier running back or something, because the depth on those two is really staggered. You're sitting on good like middle tier running back numbers. I would try and flip one for a decent running back.
Yeah, this is one of my highest ranked teams. I think the Cap and Allen bonus, like you said, is huge. Huge. I like Mixon. I think Stroud's the man, and I think he's going to keep benefiting from being in a good offense, even if he's very inefficient. That team's going to score. And so I think, and they ran the hell out of the ball last year, even though they couldn't run it for shit. So I think he's fine, but depth there is huge. Although there are some Chase Brown stands out there. The wide receiver room is awesome. That's a really good room. Yeah, that was an A- for me, one of the higher rated ones.
Led by Mr. Quentin Johnson again, a breakout season.
I was hoping you would bring it up. I was trying to tee you up, man.
Hey, which Johnson? Oh no, it's Johnson, not Johnston. Damn it, I was gonna say who does better, Brandon or Quentin, but they don't have the same last name. Never mind.
It dropped to a point with Quentin Johnson. To the moon, baby. But yeah, I'm a big fan on Adams. I think DK is one of the more, I don't want to say slept on because everyone knows DK, but with the new offense and everything, it could be a very good year for him. He could have a bounce back to where he was his first 2 years.
I'm very Waddle. DK.
I mean, Waddle, his like expected points based on his like metrics and stuff like that. He could have had a way bigger year. He just didn't really hit he didn't hit those big plays he did the previous 2 years.
So one theory I heard on the Dolphins as far as their wide receivers, somebody suggested, I can't remember who it was, that they brought in Odell Beckham to play the X instead of Jalen Waddle. And that'll free up Jalen Waddle to do some more of those similar things that Tyreek Hill was doing, which could really expand his role and really, that ceiling. We could see the ceiling that we saw earlier in his career before Tyreek came along.
Okay, I love that because yards per route run, Jalen Waddle, I want to say is a top 10er. Sure. Which Ryan Heath, have you guys read any of his stuff? I forgot what the website is. He was the guy who's kind of the pioneer behind yards per route run, fantasy points per dropback. We had him on a podcast. He was talking about how yards per route run is one of the most indicative stats for next season's success for wide receivers. And Jalen Waddle kills it in it. So yeah, especially with what you're talking about, Alex, I think that's pretty badass.
Yeah, and we have one season from Jalen Waddle where he dominated on volume. We have another season from Jalen Waddle where he dominated like down the field routes as ADOT. So he can do both at a high level.
Yeah.
Also,
it's only a matter of time. I think the more Tyreek ages, the better off Waddle is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. They'll look to expand his role.
They're flip flop for sure at some point.
Zay Flowers, wide receiver 2 season coming in hot. Just saying, miss me with those Mandrew stats, splits with him on and off. I'm like, yeah, that's also when he was breaking into the league versus when he was getting comfortable in the league.
Right.
Like a little convenient there.
He's good.
Hashtag.
I'll see. Anyone got anything else on this one? Oh, we didn't talk about Caleb Williams. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I didn't even notice. I just scrolled down. Luckily, he's got Caleb Williams sitting down there in his taxi squad, which is another nut situation to have Allen, Young, do what you want, but to have Caleb Williams and Josh Allen's pretty nuts too, honestly. So maybe
I didn't want to be a homer.
Yeah. Just want to throw that out there. I just noticed
it just sucks that it's a one quarterback league. You can never get in the lineup.
Yeah. It's almost like, let's get to that 2 QB. I mean, you already saw 2 teams that are stacked at quarterbacks. I mean, we'll see how the rest plays out, but right now it's looking kind of sad to see some of these guys on the benches.
Yeah, that was my second highest QB room. I love Caleb.
Yeah.
He's a Bears fan.
I got one final thought before we move on, if anyone doesn't have anything else. We did not hit the fact that they have Evan Ingram and Dalton Kincaid in a tight end premium. That's insane.
We're just going to ignore Luke Musgrave?
Yes.
Correct.
I would rather do that.
Come on. Give some love to Luke Musgrave, man. He's going to break out all over the place.
I mean, I hope so. I own him in a good amount of leagues.
He's still going to be Evan Ingram or
involved.
Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
But my main point with that tight end stack is you have 2 of the, probably very potential top 5 tight ends on top of that Allen McCaffrey advantage.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
2 top 5 is wild.
Ingram was 2 last year, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot more competition this year, in my opinion.
He does.
I mean, I'll get to what I think about the Jags later, but Evan Ingram to the moon still.
Yeah, that one team is all Jags.
Okay, next up, Dallas Cowboys. This is a team here. My initial instinct was you need to blow this up. You've got the great stack of CJ Stroud, and does someone disagree with me? That's going to make good content.
No.
Bad news on that front. Bad news on that front. Did you look at the draft picks?
Yes, that's why I'm suggesting this.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah, looks like you've sold some picks, and we need to get those back. You keep your Stroud and Nico stack, and you let anyone who wants anything else come talk. That's where I'm at with this. Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore. That's a solid wide receiver group to look for some return. Yeah, what do you guys got?
I mean, I would hold DJ Moore personally. For me, it'd be Stroud, DJ Moore, Nico Collins. Everybody else can go out the door. But I mean, I was gonna make a joke and say, I mean, this guy hasn't won a championship left. So I was gonna make a bad joke and say that his chances of making championship are very low. And then you made a comment that he needed to blow it up, and I was like, that's why I said, and then I looked at it, I was like, yeah, he needs to, yeah. It ain't gonna be this year either, buddy. I'm sad to tell you. You need some work here.
Yeah, this is my second lowest ranked team. This one's rough. That RB room. It's if you guys have seen the interview, the James Franco disgusted gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is, oh man. Ford, Pollard, Chubb, Spears, Sanders. I mean, that's bad news. Bears right there.
Where these picks went to, which is the sad part. Because a lot of times, if you do it correctly and you trade picks, it could turn out well for you. You can put them in the right places. I just don't know where it went wrong here.
The Jags team has 2 extra first. Has an extra first in 25, an extra first in 26, 2 extra firsts in 27. They're the only one with extra firsts.
Maybe it went there. Who knows? Yeah, honestly, on this team, like Tajay Spears is my highest ranked running back.
Or Tony Pollard, his counterpart?
Oh, I like Spears more for sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Pollard has juice anymore. I think he's toast.
It was a bad last year for sure. I blame injury more than anything else, but we'll see.
Oh, I think it's 100% the injury, and I just don't know if that's something he's getting back, is all. Yeah, there's just not a ton going on here. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
shout out me, fuck Cowboys, if I'm allowed to say that on here. So you
100%.
deserved, but
No rules.
damn, man.
I'll allow it.
There's only one
Yeah.
Cowboy on this team, so I mean that's a step in the right direction.
I know, Ryan, you said I would hold on to DJM, and I agree. I love DJ Moore.
Yeah.
I think he's phenomenal. I called that breakout last year, but how else are you going to get these first back?
I mean, that's true. I mean, you got to sell to get there, but
I think I would hold Stroud just because he's so young and he's going to be cheap in this system, which is nice. But then I'm getting out there on everybody else. I wouldn't even hold Nico if I got a good enough offer.
thanks,
you just got to
man.
move around.
Yeah, with Stroud, are we really like holding tight onto Stroud in this league?
Who's going to buy him?
I mean, if somebody's going to pay up, I don't know. Does somebody love CJ Stroud, top 5 maybe quarterback? If somebody's going to pay that type of price for him,
how quarterbacks. We just mentioned it with the team with 3 good quarterbacks. Like, who's going to be willing to pay up for one of these guys? I think it's the same thing here.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But if the offer comes along,
I mean, for sure,
you have permission to sell him.
I just don't think we're at the ceiling of Stroud. If you look back at the early game logs, he did not have prodigious passing, and typically quarterbacks break out in the second year, and then he added Diggs, and hopefully has a healthy Tank Dell all year.
Get everything he needs.
I think Houston's a problem this year, as Zach knows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a productive struggle, they like to say.
I don't think it's that.
Is it that productive?
This is a cupcake. Sorry, Cowboys.
I don't think it's that bad.
I do.
Am I the only one? I mean, we got Moore, we got Kirk, we got Evans. We got a legitimate Nico Collins. I know the running back room sucks.
My main thing with it was behind Stroud and Collins, there's no like in-your-face star power.
Yeah. And compared to the rest of the league, that does have
Collins is top 12. Is Collins top 12 to you?
No, Collins is fake.
What are we doing here? Like
trying to be
like I'm just being honest, man. This is time to
break the Band-Aid. For once, I want to be the positive guy on one of these shows.
All right,
that's true.
We'll switch roles.
Okay, Denver Broncos.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's get the
Who wants to take this one from the top? Someone else take this. Go.
I think it's Ryan's turn. Oh, not bad, Alex. I'm sorry.
I can do it. I'll go for it.
I'll grab next one. I got it.
All right. So let's look at the quarterback room. We got Lamar Jackson. I think that's a top 3, top 4 stud. Although you're paying a hefty price for him, you got $52 million. Whereas compared to the last team we saw CJ Stroud, it's only $9 million. And then we're talking about paying up a quarterback. One guy's spending $9 million on CJ Stroud, and you're spending $25 million for Geno Smith on your bench. That's a little concerning. Running back room, we got Najee Harris and Alvin Kamara. I mean, these 2 just kind of gross feeling running backs. I mean, Najee Harris,
that's crazy.
It's going to be.
I thought you were going to be positive.
I like both those guys this year. Whatever.
Well, okay, they're fine. They're fine. I'm not avoiding them. They're just they don't give you the satisfaction that some of these other running backs give you when you hit the button to draft them. They're gross. They're going to get you the production, but they're gross. Puka Nacua, I mean, I think he had the best year of his career as a rookie. And Cooper Kupp's coming back.
I don't know if I'm willing to go that far, but I was going to say I'm here for the Cup resurgence.
Yeah, Kupp's going to retake the alpha spot in that offense. I think where we're drafting them in redraft leagues is it's backwards. We need to draft Cooper Kupp in like the second round, end of the first. Well, maybe not the end of the first, second round, and Puka Nacua maybe more like a third round guy.
I think that's fair. But yeah.
I think we had like a day where it was really exciting for Deebo Samuel. He's going to be the only wide receiver in that offense, and then they reopened contract talks with Brandon Ayuk. So your sell window is over, just like that. Travis Kelce, getting old, man. We're getting old. But I think he'd still be a top five tight end.
Oh, for sure, be still top 5. Yeah.
I expect him to bounce back. He had that knee injury, which took the first half of his season practically away, and then you could tell down the stretch and then the playoff run, like old Kelce was back. No concerns there for me.
Yeah, and he spends his whole offseason with Taylor Swift. How can you come back from that and not be positive?
I think it was also intentional. I think they were trying to save him for a long playoff run too.
Which
his snap counts was
why wouldn't they do that again? Lower. He's a year older. Why wouldn't they do that again? They've added a bunch of wide receivers. They have less need to play Travis Kelce.
I think so too.
So the starting running backs were kind of The bench is even worse. Although I kind of like Zamir White.
Yeah, just as a volume play, yeah.
No love for Demo. I like that. I like him in that offense, man. They feed him.
Oh, I totally missed him. He's in that same
gross, but gets it done.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair. There's a lot of those running backs.
It's kind of the theme on this team.
Hope.
All right, so then we get to wide receiver bench.
Yeah, go ahead. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, so we get Tank Dell on the bench. That's kind of exciting. You saw a touchdown tonight. He looks back already off that leg injury.
He also got shot.
Did he?
Yeah, this offseason,
he did.
Yes.
He got shot.
Yeah. Through and through.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Straight through that boy.
Nobody cares about that. Everybody talks about Brian Robinson years later. Nobody even remembers Tank Dell got shot.
We're like 3 months ago?
2 months ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Poor guy. All right. So we got the Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers stack here. That's exciting. I think we all like Zay Flowers. I know Dennis loves Zay Flowers. I kind of like Noah Fant. I know he just got injured. I don't really know much about the injury, to be honest with you. Prior to that, I kind of like Noah Fant as like a 10th year breakout.
Exactly what he needed. Even when the next
pop up. I can't quit him either if it makes you feel better.
Why can't he be? I mean, we're gonna have a brand new offense. Pete Carroll's gone. They're gonna play 1 tight end and not 7.
True.
All right. Well, I'm here to tell you it's a foot injury, so not good.
Okay.
It's typically bad for
to be positive.
Yeah.
Like you hear knee, ankle, like those are like I don't know, like things a lot of times can come back from pretty quick. I don't know. I feel like anytime they straight out say foot, like you're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, Christian Watson's got his legs back to being the same size, so that'll help him stay healthy, hopefully. But I don't know.
That was one of those wild season or off-season stories right there.
Right? But
I hope it works out for him.
I just don't know where he fits in that wide receiver room. Is it gonna be? Is he gonna? I mean, a year ago he was like the guy, and then he was the guy on the injury report for the whole year.
Well, yeah, but then down the stretch he started fucking up everyone's snap counts. That's the problem,
right? I think
it's just like, what do you do with them as a group?
It's a big, massive rotation.
Is it like
even friggin' Bo Melton's getting involved in there?
Is it like those old Saints teams where the quarterback is gonna put up points, but you have no idea what wide receiver is gonna have that production that week? Like, I think Love's gonna have a good year, but I have almost no Packers besides like Devontae Wicks in best ball leagues, just because he's the cheapest.
Right. I think you can draft them in best ball leagues, but it's gonna be a headache in redraft leagues.
Yeah,
especially. I love Jaden Reed, I don't think I've drafted him one time just because he's the most expensive of these guys.
I'll say now where he's priced, yeah. My one thing with this team, I was going to say is that with how kind of like middle of the road running back they went, like I want more star power on receiver.
Yeah, right, exactly. If you're going to go blah at running back, let's step up the game at wide receiver. But I mean, I think maybe some people like Puka Nacua more than we do.
Oh, for sure. Puka Nacua is like inside the top 10 as far as dynasty rankings go, and most.
Yeah,
We're not saying we agree, but I mean that's what we're talking here. I mean, I also don't hate Zay Flowers and Tank Dell on the bench. Like, I get like they're kind of more like best ball based in my opinion, but I think there's still guys that can win you leagues if they catch a hot streak with their quarterbacks.
Give me Zay Flowers over Watson this season every single week.
Oh, absolutely. Not even close. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, this was kind of like a middle of the road pack team for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate anything that they have, but I also like I mean, I love Lamar, so I think that's a really strong QB room. Gino's a solid backup. I should take that back. But a lot of these QB rooms are pretty freaking solid. With it being 10 QB. So my little meme was I was late to the train. Have you seen Idiocracy, the old like 2004 movie? Where it's like the most average man in the world, and they're telling him lead, follow, get out the way. He goes, well, every time I hear that, I get out of the way. Isn't that what you want? And like, no, it's supposed to humiliate you into leading or at least following. I kind of just feel like this is a middle of the road team that would, I'll get out of the way.
At least he's got the youth at wide receiver. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's like you got Lamar, you got Kelsey, and so everything else going, if everyone's just fine, like you got a shot. But yeah, I don't think this is going to be like a steamboat.
No, I think once you get into the season, some teams start having some injuries at running back. Maybe you start selling off, Alvin Kamara, Najee Harris, Dave Montgomery. These guys are a little bit older, a little bit on the verge of being dust, and just start collecting picks. And I think you can make a run, next year with these. You upgraded wide receiver in the offseason. I think you'd be good to go in 2025.
Well, do you flip Kamara then?
Oh, yeah. Kamara, Najee Harris, David Montgomery. Some point during the season, they've had a 2-touchdown game and somebody's starting running back went down. There's your trade.
It's supposed to be a good running back class next year. So.
Oh, loaded.
Yeah. There you go.
Loaded.
Get some picks.
I always get nervous until it's like February, March before I start getting excited.
True. That's good running backs. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's get on to the Green Bay Packers. Ryan, take this one away, man. This is
let's go.
This is a good one.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say I skipped ahead while we were talking about the previous team, and I am honestly Mr. What's his name? Michelle. Sorry, Miss Michelle. I apologize. This is one of my favorite teams. I mean, I think I'll address it in a little bit, but I mean, you get Brees and Bijan as your 1-2 running backs. That's absolutely insane. H on the bench, who I think is like sneaky, like major upside in him.
That's
those three alone at the running back position is nuts. The receivers I like a lot. I mean, you have Jaden Reed slotted in at the third, but I mean, you have Neighbor sitting in your taxi squad that can easily replace him if you're not too happy with that. I mean, this team's great for me. Here's where I put the hammer down. There's teams that have another quarterback. Go get one. You have Justin Fields and Deshaun Watson, which is an absolute nightmare for me.
Can you pick it?
I hate that. I think you got to go get yourself a quarterback. This is a team that I think can be pushed for a championship and should probably go get that extra piece at the quarterback position to go make that run.
I don't know if I'd be willing to pay that hard. I'd be okay with rolling Deshaun Watson, seeing what happens in Pittsburgh in a one quarterback. If this was a super flex, I'd be like,
panicking.
Throw up every flag you got. You need something. But yeah, you bring Neighbors in. I think if anything, I would want maybe another running back. Oh no, never mind. You got Trey Benson. I forgot about him. I would say running back depth behind the big three isn't the best, but I think Trey Benson's going to be impactful from the go, even if it's not like starter right away. I think he's still going to play, you know.
For sure.
Yeah, I think this team's really good.
Yeah.
So I would agree. If they were able to get a quarterback, this would change everything because I gave them a D+ at quarterback, one of my lowest grades they could give. But I love Justin Fields. And I think he could be awesome, but he might ride the bench. Pickett's riding the bench, and Watson.
You want
to count on that? But yeah, like you said, if you're willing to make a move and this is your push your chips in, then I love it. Because on the other side of that coin, this is the only room I gave above a 4.0. I gave a 4.3 to this running back room. This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Bijan is freaking insane. And then I saw A-Chain. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So this is
when
insane.
the fuck did we get A-Chan?
Seriously, like, bravo. Like, goddamn.
Was I sleeping?
Neighbors, he's the starter. Don't play on. He's gonna get so many targets. What are we doing here? Sneaky. I like Mike Williams. I know that's a very risky move to make, but if he can somehow not make every catch like he's jumping into a pool and stay healthy, I think he's gonna do fine.
I loved how the sleeper notifications the other day were Mike Williams activated off PUP healthy. 1 minute later, Mike Williams from healthy to questionable. It's just that's just like his career, and like
they're probably doing that preemptively.
I have so much Mike Williams in baseball. McBride and Kmet, that's a really solid tight end room. I think McBride is going to be phenomenal this year.
Oh,
and so definitely my meme for this team was the RB room clutch by pearls. Like I literally like gasped when I saw those two, and then saw A-Chain. Like I didn't know A-Chain,
That's how I felt when I was scrolling through this team, and then I got to the taxi squad, and my league neighbors is sitting there.
Yeah, like, that was my thing too. Is I was like, damn, this is nasty. If only they had like one more receiver.
Oh.
And there it was.
The QB room really hurt their overall grade for me.
Yeah, I think my plan would be to just roll into the season with this quarterback room and just see what happens. There's one team we haven't talked about yet. It's got like 6 quarterbacks on his team. So at some point, you're going to get one for a pretty good price. We've talked about pretty much every team in this league has a pretty decent quarterback situation. Yeah. And you have a pretty good situation at every other position. At some point, the opportunity is going to be there to buy a good quarterback and to make that run. I'm just going to be patient, though. So I think you're going to win games with Deshaun Watson to start the year. You'll be fine.
But just a side note here, I don't know what they've been cooking up this offseason, but in the notes, this team that we're talking about right now has the last 2 years has been last place.
Yes, I forgot about that. I saw that.
How?
What?
No neighbors would be the first thing.
For sure. But even past that, it's like, I mean,
A-Chan got hurt. So maybe down the stretch without A-Chan. I was trying to write that story too. I was having trouble figuring it out.
2 years ago, they basically had none of those running backs because Brees got hurt, and then Bijan
had a down season because of that clown.
And then rookies were last year for the other two.
Yeah.
So.
Still though, wow,
Love this team
so great. At least to me. If it stays healthy, I think this team can ride.
Yeah, McBride broke out last year. So last year is confusing being last place, but 2 years ago I can see.
2 years ago would have been the year Justin Fields went ape shit, though.
Yeah,
with especially down the stretch.
1,100-yard rushing season.
Yeah. So how did you?
So much fun.
How did you win the toilet bowl when you had the league winner that year? Maybe they didn't have that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a bummer they don't have league history like Sleeper. I wanted to look at some of these drafts from previous years and stuff and see.
Yeah, by the way, who plays fantasy football on Fantrax?
I called Zach. I don't know anything about this website. Can you help me?
I was gonna say, I didn't want to roast them too bad, but I was gonna say that
out of all the platforms
to move to, what did you move from? Hopefully not Sleeper.
They moved from paper and pen.
Please, they moved from Yahoo to Fantrax or something. Don't tell me you left fucking Sleeper for this shit.
They were still using the box scores from the newspapers. They've
You gotta check
upgraded
the
the
paper
fan
every
tracks.
fucking
Okay?
Tuesday.
Dude, shout out the OGs that did that though. That's dedication.
They've got
Yeah.
the font on their phone up to the max because they got their phone.
Probably call dinner, supper.
Yeah, they're getting their grandchildren to come over to help. You know, how do I use my phone? How do I draft this team?
Oh man, okay, so we're gonna go to Jacksonville Jaguars, the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Oh,
my favorite
you, Zach.
team. So I'm gonna take this one over because
Yes,
you
This is Michael
have
Jordan.
Andy has the Michael Jordan of
He
football,
chases
Trevor
him.
Lawrence.
I'm trying to reach his flow status.
Yeah, see, you got a ways to go.
A little bit.
Okay, a lot of people are down on Trevor, and I'm going to tell you why he shouldn't be and why he's here to put in a huge year this year. He's screaming positive regression everywhere you look. If you're on Twitter, football Twitter, fantasy Twitter, whatever, you've probably seen the 2-minute clip of drop touchdowns and touchdowns that had like a pinky toe hit the sideline or out of bounds. Just drop touchdowns, missed touchdowns everywhere for Trevor. He lost the most EPA in the league to drops. The two people responsible for that, mostly Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, are gone. So you bring in Brian Thomas, you bring Gabe Davis, two dudes who are fast as hell, significantly faster than what the two dudes that were here last year. Trevor throws a fantastic deep ball, and he's never had a deep ball receiver to actually throw to. Like, it's just the nature. That's just the truth. And so, oh man, we got a comment. Do I like Trevor Lawrence? Right there. Anywho, he's a great deep ball thrower. So he's got speed. And I think what I was referring to earlier, Dennis, with Evan Ingram, is that you have legitimate speed on the outside now. Gabe Davis, all the time you see multiple steps behind defenders when Josh Allen would just chuck the shit out of one. Jacksonville has never had that with Trevor. These two dudes on the outside are going to open up so much room for Kirk and Ingram, which he doesn't have either of them. But that's why I'm so in on Ingram, is that the effect of those two dudes going deep, it just leaving the middle wide open to eat. So that's why I'm all in on Trevor. He still had a good season last year, playing through injuries. Give me all the Trevor, especially at his price. And you have ETN. How do you not love that? One of the only running backs to play 17 games 2 years in a row. Criminally underpriced. I know we're not talking redraft here, but he goes in like the third round in redraft, which is bananas for a dude who's going to keep getting this volume. They're going to keep trying to talk up Tank Bigsby, but it's never going to happen enough to totally impact ETN. You got Jonathan Taylor. That's badass. That's a great running back duo. I think your room behind that sucks, unfortunately. But you've got young dudes. Receiving room's young. I would look to move Jerry Jeudy if he has a couple pop games. But you've got a shitload of draft picks. So you've got a ton of young pieces and a lot of draft picks. This team, this is not the year for you now. Oh, I missed Kenneth Walker. That is a badass running back trio.
Yeah.
This is a good team that has a lot looking for it for the future. I don't think they're going to win it this year. Maybe not even make the playoffs, but this team is set up nicely. Someone else, take it away.
Oh my God, can you get rid of Derek Carr, please? Derek Carr for $37.5 million. Come on.
Probably about his real life salary too.
Honestly, Jerry Jeudy at 17.5 might be just as criminal. Sorry, go ahead.
Right,
yeah,
as you're paying, Drake London $5 million, Travis Etienne $3 million,
Sam Laporta 2.
So yeah. I really like this running back room. I think that's everybody does, but I'm higher like Zach on consensus with ETN than most, just because of a lot of things Zach said. I think their O line is going to be improved. The passing game is going to be improved. I think there's going to be more space. Just overall, the team speed on the Jags is insane. Pretty much every position is plus speed for the average, or the median speed for their position. I like having Kenny 3-6. I think he's awesome, but then also having Charbo behind him. I think that's a really good combination to have, both of them. Kendra Miller, still praying, but regardless, it's good depth to have.
I was going to ask.
And go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what do you guys think about Kendra Miller? Do you think it's? I mean, he's
I
already.
don't think it matters what we
again.
think. I think it matters what fucking Dennis Allen thinks.
Yeah, and he's a terrible
right.
coach.
It doesn't sound good.
So bad.
Look up his career record. I'm pretty sure it's 26-46. I don't know how this man is still employed. But I think he's talented, so we'll see. Javonte, still holding out hope because his metrics when he was playing before he blew out his knee, and then he got touched his second year. And I just think there's talent there if he can get back healthy. That was a major injury, though. Maybe he gets cut because that's what they're talking about and goes to Dallas. That'd be awesome. I'd cheer that one on. I love Marv. I think he's phenomenal. But yeah, I like this team a lot. This was my second highest running back room. They got an A+ or 4.0.
Got a 4.0 and came in second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry
that's
about
rough.
that, guys.
Honestly, though, for God's sakes, I get you not setting your team. Can you please take out DJ Chark out of your starting roster? It's driving me absolutely insane watching this. The guy's a washed up bum who hasn't been relevant in 3 years, and you got
He had one
Marvin
good
Harrison
season
on the bench just chilling. Put Maserati Marvin at least. Put some respect on the name.
Yeah, I didn't write him down on the running back on the wide receiver room list. He's
exactly. Well, this guy's. I think Dennis mentioned it a little bit, but I think for what it is, his top. Oh no, never mind. Just ETN and Walker, but it's still nice to have the handcuff for both of them. If injury happens, they have someone to step in. And to Alex's point, I think Kendry. You never know when Alvin Kamara never been an efficient runner when he's going to take that step over in that in that backfield. We'll see. I don't have as such a grim outlook on the running back room as some of the others, but I don't know. I like this team, but also something about it feels cursed for some reason.
Don't say that.
If anyone's going to challenge Caffrey for number one running back, I think it's JT.
The name, right?
I think this Colts offense is special.
Well, yeah, I mentioned it with Brian Robinson. You want to be paired to the rushing quarterback, and Jonathan Taylor is actually good.
True. Yeah,
he's phenomenal. And that
the one thing I'm looking here
there is that.
Go ahead, Alex.
Sorry, my thing keeps freezing. The only difference between Jonathan Taylor with Anthony Richardson and Brian Robinson with Jaden Daniels is when you get to the goal line, 200-pound, 190-pound Jaden Daniels is probably not taking it in from the 5-yard line. Whereas Anthony Richardson, he's like a freaking fullback out there. He's taking it in. He's Cam Newton.
Yeah,
that's the only difference. Other than
they said that they aren't going to slow it down either. So the one thing I see here,
right,
and this is why we weren't going to touch salary stuff too much, is because I don't know how new players get salary. Is it based on their? Because I see Trevor's 55. That is his.
You just didn't want to admit that Trevor Lawrence is way overpaid.
I think it's the real life salary. I think it's the real life salary, and then they get $300 million for their team.
Okay, so he's got $130 million in space because the team is so young.
I've sounded so dumb this whole podcast. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's the real salary. They get $300 million.
I was just gonna say we've been trashing them with their salary.
Yeah, everything I said about salary.
Now you tell us that.
Sorry, no, it didn't really seem to affect everyone. Has
you wait till we get to the 9 team.
I just figured it out.
I thought you guys were just way more concerned about it than I was. I was like, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I thought that they chose their salary and they had a certain calculated amount.
They had
an all makes sense now.
Yeah, I see.
Sorry, fam.
I didn't piece it together.
All right, start from the top.
I didn't piece it together until I saw 55 on Trevor, and I was like, wait a minute.
Jesus.
But yeah, a lot of cap space on this team. And before we sound even more dumb, we're just going to go to the LA Rams.
Wait, hold on. I have one thing I want to talk about real fast.
Okay, go ahead.
London. Drake London. Are you guys buying all this?
Jags are not moving to London.
Yes.
Yeah.
They might. I think that's more likely than Drake London being a wide receiver 1.
Ooh.
No.
I don't see it. I don't. I like London. I do not think he's cracking top 12, and that's where he's going on best ball. And I know that's not the same as this, but in my opinion, I think that's the most accurate. Like, that's why I judge a lot of my ADP, just because it's people putting money. It's going on constantly.
Yeah, me too.
So, I have zero London.
Those are typically the sharpest people. Interesting.
But
I do like London. I mean, I definitely understand the skepticism for sure.
I do think top 12 is a little bit bullish on him. Like, but I could also see like a good top 20 season out of him, and I don't think I'm too mad at that.
I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah, but top 12, I agree. In this space of all these great receivers, it's tough to crack the top 12.
Dang, Flowers going ham at Lawrence.
Wow, Matt from the rafters.
Send Alf back to the moon. That's all I got.
One sniper. He's that one sniper with his hand in his pocket and the gun out.
Legendary guy.
Taking out Zach.
Hey, Matt, call the ambulance. But not for me. Okay, LA Rams. Dennis, I believe it's your turn. Your turn to kick it off.
Love this team. Okay. This is my favorite team. Kyler, Burrow, Love at quarterback. That's phenomenal. Only problem could be who do you start, but that also you get to play matchups. I think they're all kind of similar as far as where they're going to end up. So I think that's great. They have some growth running backs like Alex was talking about earlier that are going to be very, very productive that I'm high on. I know James Conner is going to miss a couple of games, but the games he plays are going to be great. Arizona was phenomenal at running the ball last year. Jacobs, I think Matt LaFleur has jumped into that Kyle Shaney tier of play calling. It kills me to say it. It really hurts, but it's phenomenal. So I'm high in Jacobs this year. Aaron Jones, who knows? He's going to miss even more games than Connors, but the games he plays could be good. Kyren, not the biggest guy. Not the biggest fan, I mean to say. Like, I just don't see it with him. I'm an ND fan. I watched him a lot. He was all right. And then he tested like shit. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of checks out. And then Singletary again, kind of gross.
He's got a.
Go ahead.
He's got Justin Forsett vibes. Justin Forsett, Thomas Rawls, Peyton Hillis.
Like, I just feel like
remember Zach Stacy, James Robinson.
That's a good one. Yes,
that's a great. Oh, I love naming random running backs.
David Wilson,
Sharkandrick West,
Elijah Mitchell.
But overall, it's still good depth, and you don't really need awesome running backs if you can get away with the freaking wide receivers that he has. Because good God, y'all,
it's true.
Tyreek, Chase. Wow. Objectively top 3, possibly top 2 overall. I'm a big fan of Hollywood. I think when he has a good quarterback play, he does really well. He's shown it with Lamar and Kyler. I like Ladd McConkey. I think he's a really solid rookie. And Ayuk, I didn't even mention. Who knows where he's going to end up, but I think wherever he goes, he's going to be productive. So that's a 5-headed monster, at least a 4-headed if you don't believe in Ladd because he's a rookie in that offense or whatever. But that was my highest, tied highest. But a perfect 4.0 for the wide receiver room. And then tight end, you have Mandrews and Likely. So I love that. They're saying they're going to use Likely more. I don't know. But regardless, you're going to be good. You're going to get production there.
Yeah.
And then you got Snot. I don't know how to say that guy's name. I'm sorry. Apologize to your family. I'm saying it wrong. But people like him. So
I think it's Sinnott.
Maybe.
I've heard Sinnott. I've heard Snot. I don't know.
We're still in that awkward rookie phase.
Yeah, I don't. That's my lowest room ranking, and I still gave it a B+. So I mean, it's still really good. Like overall, this one cleared the gym. And my meme GIF thing is they're Globo Gym. Like they're better than you, and they know it. This is just a phenomenal team. I don't see a weakness.
I'm a little bit more concerned about James.
I like
Conner
the way
than
this
those
team is
would be.
built. Yeah,
Sorry, Alex,
no,
go
I
ahead.
haven't drafted him one time this year. I don't like James Conner. I don't like James Conner either. But yeah, this is how I would want to build my dynasty team.
Yeah.
Not prioritize running back too much, but you got those just solid, steady guys who know what you're going to get every week. You know you're going to get X amount of points from Josh Jacobs or James Conner or Aaron Jones, and you can just go hit that ceiling. Because one of these guys every single week, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Mark Andrews, one of these guys every single week is going to hit a home run for you. So as long as you just get that steady floor at running back, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue I have with this is I think you're paying 3 quarterbacks $160 million every $300 million. Like eventually, like that has to give at some point. That's half of your salary cap wrapped up in 3 players. But lucky for you, there's teams that need a quarterback. I would ship one off for sure. It's definitely a luxury to have all 3, but at some point it becomes a salary nightmare for you. That being said, this team's absolutely loaded. I've always said and been saying the best tight end strategy is to just draft Mark Andrews and then get Likely later on in the rounds. I think that's the best handcuff you can get for a tight end. I think you can go through a full season without an issue with those two guys. And
I think it's probably the only tight end handcuff in the league that you can say that about.
Yeah, true. And then I'm a big Josh Jacobs guy this year. I think him with the floor and Jordan
other
Love
than Tucker Kraft.
Shut up, Alex.
I already gave enough love to the Packers. You don't have to give any more. Wait, we've had enough. I did the bare minimum. We're good.
These Packers tight ends.
Yeah, Dennis had to compliment real life Packers stuff and also the Packers team in this league.
I know they wear piss pants. They wear pee pants though, so
that's right.
They can never. Yeah, they always pee their pants. Yeah, this is really good. So the one thing I thought of about the salary thing is like, imagine you I don't know, you have zero control. So this guy, all of a sudden, one day, Jordan Love is now taking up $55 million of your salary.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like normal dynasty, you cheer on your guys getting the bag.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, now I know. But now you're like, well, shit. Jamar
Chase
is going to make $35 million a year. Fuck.
So I would love to hear if anyone's ever run into anything like that, where someone signing an extension.
And this team only has
totally
16 million remaining.
Still has 16 million remaining. Damn.
No, he only has 16 million remaining. He's one contract away from being over the cap.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah, he doesn't really have much room to spend. Yeah.
Ayuk gets traded, gets a new contract.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, shit.
That's all it takes. Yeah, exactly.
If you go over, do you forfeit? Do you forfeit a week until you get under?
He's only at 3 million right now.
Yeah, he might.
He's going to make much more than 16 million.
He might have to hit up that Packers team and be like, "You want love? You want love?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, I love
that team with
Deshaun.
Is that the team with Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Quarterback away, where the Bears always are. That's my favorite spot.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
That's spicy right there.
And they have A-Chain to give away, who I think would be a good addition to this team.
Oh, I wouldn't give up A-Chain.
Well, now that Packers team has all the leverage.
True.
This guy's going to have to sell somebody.
I'll say because the moment Ayuk gets traded or signs, this guy's screwed.
Yeah, that's the rough part. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, let's move on.
So first off with this next team, I'm disappointed because it's not a team name like everyone else. My first thought it was.
I like that they're Mr. No Prisoners. I like them, and then I saw the team, and I like them even more.
Okay, but
being out Maryland, though. It's my neighbor state.
Being somewhat into soccer, I'm a pretty big soccer fan. you know, those random ass teams like Denmark or something, it'll be a couple letters and then like some weird Danish word. Like that's where my mind went with this, was like MD and then like just some goofy ass word, because Mr. No Prisoners was one word. And so when you scrunch it together, it looks like some goofy ass word. So this is as far as I'm concerned, this team is in like Denmark.
Somewhere over there in Europe.
Yeah. Alex, take it away.
All right. How do we say this team, Mr. No Prisoners?
Mr. Denmark.
No Prisoners. Mr.
No
Denmark.
Prisoners.
Got wooden clogs on.
Oh, you know.
The Iceland League last year, we couldn't pronounce a single team name.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
That was embarrassing, but probably really good content.
Oh, I'm sure they trolled us.
Yeah. All right. Who we got a quarterback? We got Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, you know, we know what we're getting with him. Top 3 stud. James Cook, a running back. The Bills went run heavy second half of the year last year, and I think they're going to do it again, at least to start this year. I'm not a big James Cook guy, but if he's going to get, you know, decent volume in a good offense, we got Derrick Henry. I remember us talking last year before the trade deadline. You know, if Tennessee could trade Derrick Henry to any team, could it be the Ravens? And we were all like, hell yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And now we get to see it happen. Now, hopefully he's not dust yet, but I don't think he is. I think we got one more big year from Derrick Henry. Then at wide receiver, we got AJ Brown to stack with Jalen Hurts. And we got Amon-Ra St. Brown. So we're pretty studly at wide receiver.
Going to Browntown.
Especially if we go down and we look at Garrett Wilson. We got Garrett Wilson. Deontay Johnson.
Here we go again.
I'm sorry. Roll a Tony Browntown from Tim and Eric.
It's such an inside joke.
Yeah. Tim and Eric, awesome show. Great job.
All right.
Check yourself at the door. Anyway, sorry, Alex.
All right. It's all right. Deontay Johnson. I think he's going to have a nice bounce back here. He's going to be the focal point on that offense. He's going to be what Adam Thielen was at the beginning last year. Just the guy that they just pepper with targets.
I love Deontay so much, and
he's actually good.
I've gotten sniped everywhere. Every draft I've been in this year so far, I've gotten sniped on him, and I want him so bad.
Yeah, he's one of my highest exposure players in best ball. I love Deontay because they had nobody who could separate last year, and then they bring in arguably the best separator. And Bryce has shown like if someone can get open, like you know what I mean. But speaking of being sniped and AJB and Hurt snack, I finally got some AJB exposure in a draft that started like a couple days ago, and I passed on Hurts round 3, and then because I had 42, and that was Hurts's ADP. I literally got picked one before. The dude doesn't have any reason to be taking Hurts. Drives me bonkers.
Except for to cock block you.
Yeah, I was about to say. A lot of people do that. It's annoying, but it's very real.
Right. I started AJB, Marv, DJ Moore, and then I could have gotten Hurts. I would have been like, bury me alive. I'm good. Sorry. Go back to this team that we're being.
All right. Ezekiel Elliott, he's dust. He's going to be on the bench by week 4.
Mark it down.
Tyler Algier. Yeah, mark it down. Tyler Algier, I think he's the top 5 handcuff right now. I mean, he's not going to give you much for standalone value, but top 5 handcuff.
I think that's fair.
If anything happens,
I think he falls in the kind of the Isaiah Likely category, where like he's one of the few running backs that you can feel really good about, slotting in.
Right. Because after Algier, there's nobody on that depth chart. Even Cordero Patterson's gone, so you don't have any threat there. We got Jonathan Brooks. I think Jonathan Brooks, I'm worried about what he's going to do as a rookie.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a really slow ramp up. He's coming off a late season ACL injury.
Yes.
On a team that's rebuilding. Not going to be contending. He's not projected to come back until at least like week 3 or 4, which we all know turns into week 6 or 7. So I think, maybe we get a couple weeks at the end of the year from Jonathan Brooks, but I think this is a 2025 play at this point.
Right.
That was the big risk when you drafted him. And you probably knew that when you were drafting him. And then we got Blake Corum, who I love Blake Corum. I think he's the best running back in the Rams, on the Rams roster.
Yes.
He's just better than Kyren Williams in every way. He's bigger, he's tougher, he's stronger, he's a better runner, he's better in pass protection. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this guy
I don't remember
had back-to-back years of just massive workload in Michigan.
I don't remember who said it, but someone mentioned that like he's the perfect McVay back because McVay doesn't like to take guys off the field. So
right.
like he likes running backs who are just good at everything, which is Corum. And I was like, it makes sense. And the reason I didn't jump in earlier when we talked about Kyren, I'm avoiding Kyren everywhere because I don't want to invest the capital that highly. Who has a legitimate case of losing snaps?
Exactly.
I say what's great about this team is,
Kyren got by last year on heavy volume. Kyren got by last year on heavy volume. He led all running backs in snap share. He led all running backs in touches per game. Even if he keeps the top running back job in LA, he's not going to have that level of volume because Blake Corum is going to take at least some of the work, if not his job entirely. Sorry, Ryan.
It's not like. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh yeah, no. I was gonna applaud. Alex mentioned with another team. This is how I would build my dynasty team. Is he's got his wide receivers paid minus Garrett Wilson on the bench, which I think is a phenomenal thing. And he's got Brooks and Corum, who are on rookie contracts as running backs that I think can get better as the years go on. I think it's kind of the way you want to do these salary leagues. And just to applaud that running back room, man. I mean, those 3 guys, all 3 of them, for me, can be top 10 this year easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Kyren has like some established like pedigree there. He had 1 year as like a 6th-round pick, and Corum was day 2. Like clearly, if they felt so confident with Kyren, they wouldn't be spending that kind of capital on a running back, especially. So I agree there. But yeah, this wide receiver room is like
you don't draft a backup running back in the 3rd round.
No, this wide receiver room is like my heart though. Like Deontay, Garrett, Sun God, AJB. Those were like 4 of my favorite dudes. I love them. I literally have a team with AJB, Sun God, and Garrett. Dynasty.
Solid.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then Pitts, who is my favorite player, who doesn't play for the Bears. He's coming. Get ready for it, Alex. I know you're a hater.
Kirk Cousins loves his tight ends.
Yeah. No, I'm not a hater. I've been drafting quite a bit of Pitts this year. I like Pitts this year. He's finally properly priced.
Right. I just love him so. I love him so much. Everyone else is a hater, unless like his family.
He's got Pat Freiermuth to back it up.
Even if
I know
for some reason flops, like Pat is going to be that perfect middle of the road guy that you can just count on. Which this team doesn't need.
As long as they don't trade for Brandon Ayuk.
True. Yeah, I think this is a really good team coming out of Denmark. Okay, 2 to go. Pittsburgh. We're coming back across the pond, back to Pittsburgh.
Let's go fast with this team.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll kick this one off, but I mean, Alex, you mentioned earlier, this is the team. I've been waiting for it. This is the team with all these quarterbacks, man. Oh my god.
What are you doing?
We got Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, what are we doing here? But you're all great options. I mean, you can stream any one of them. You're not happy any given week. But like, why in a 1 QB league? But outside of that, Gibbs is your RB1 is a phenomenal situation. I think he's probably locked in for a top 5 season. I know David Montgomery's there, but I think he'll be faded as time goes on. Gibbs is definitely the guy there in Detroit. Rashad White, who's a solid running back, definitely going to see some regression. I think the touches come down for him, but that doesn't mean he can't be a productive running back. Buccaneers did a great job last year. I'm assuming they're probably going to do the same. And then wide receiver room, CeeDee Lamb. When you start with that, you can't really go wrong from there. To be honest with you, I mean, wide receiver 1, I think he was in most formats number 2 overall out of the whole pool of players, which is nuts for me. JSN, who one might get some looks here. I'm a big JSN guy. I think this is his breakout year with this new coaching staff coming in. They're going to pass the ball more, get the ball downfield. They've already talked about JSN getting more of a role. I think Lockett's, 31 now, so he's getting phased out. And then going into the tight ends, got David Njoku, and is that it? Oh, Dalton Schultz. Schultz, yeah. Which, don't love the room, don't hate the room, to be honest with you. I don't have much stock in either of them. And then, everything else?
I like Njoku.
You like Njoku? I'm so wishy-washy. I mean, last year he had a great season.
Yeah, I like Njoku.
But here's the thing with him.
I think Njoku spiked more with Joe Flacco, throw the ball. Though.
That's what I was going to say. Joe Flacco is where his money was, and I think he was, not great when Watson was the tight end, or excuse me, the quarterback. So Njoku worries me with Watson back in.
So the one comment I have, JSN, I don't understand why people are so down. You rewind a year and everyone this dude is God, he's wide receiver 1. He's got all the talent in the world. You go watch the film, he can do everything. He makes these crazy ass catches. He can do yak, this and that. Nothing changed. He didn't just suck. So I'm with you. I think he's gonna have a nice year. And what?
I said he kind of did suck a little bit.
Well, it was a lot of a usage thing. It's in a log jam.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the player himself didn't change to where it's all of a sudden he can't you know what I mean? You look at Quentin Johnston.
Right. They gotta use him
the same shit about
yards
Quentin Johnston a year ago as they said today.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, I'm with you. I like Jason. I think he's gonna be fine. It's good. I like the fact that Ramondre is running back 3. That's also another nice running back room here.
That completely. Romeo Doubs on the bench. We mentioned, it is maybe plug and play if you need to. This is also I didn't really notice it too much, but I don't know if there's a roster limit or if it's just what you can fit for salary, because this team's way deeper than most of the other ones.
Yeah,
and I didn't even see T. Higgins and Michael Pittman down there as well. This team
that's what I was gonna say
is deep. I didn't go far enough down the page.
Yeah, Higgins and Pittman, I think, are their 2 and 3 on this team for wide receivers. And so CD, Higgins, Pittman, that's a solid trio for me. I'm a big fan of Pittman. And then, like you said, potential breakout with JSN, potential with Dobbs, because we talked about that Green Bay room. We don't really know what's going to happen, but they're all good, so you never know. Nuke, the injury kind of hurts, but that Tennessee offense, I think Mayo Boy, he don't give a fuck. He's white Jameis. He's going to fling it. So Nuke he could have his games, right? So I like this wide receiver room, assuming CD doesn't hold out because Jerry Jones is being a dick.
Pay that man, Jesus! What are we waiting for God's sake?
Did he see? He's it's not an urgent thing. It should be an urgent thing to pay your man.
Should be top of the priorities right now, honestly. You take him off that team, I think it's a completely different roster.
He's everything to that defense.
Yeah, completely different team.
Yeah, I like Chandler too. Again, that's deep cut, but I think he's a solid guy to have on a team.
Yeah, as your running back 4 or 5 area, totally.
Gus Edwards might be the guy in LA. We don't know. I think this is good depth a lot of places.
issue here with a quarterback, and Ryan, you kind of touched on it, as in like you can start any of these guys in any given week, but what's the chances you're actually going to pick the right guy in those weeks? Because they're all just like lumped into the same tier.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to pick the right guy.
That's going to be maddening.
All right.
One to go.
Last team.
Round it out. Seattle Seahawks.
I do have one last comment if we have time. My meme, I like this one for this team. It's the fuck them picks, the Les Snead gif or meme, but it's with athletic QBs because none of their QBs goddamn run the ball.
Yeah,
true.
Oh, pocket quarterback.
All right, now we can get on to the best team in the league for sure, the Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks. Who's got it?
I go back to back, wrap it up.
I can take it.
I can go off on this team. This team is not my favorite.
Go ahead.
All right, whoever wants to go.
Now I want Dennis to do it.
You guys go for it.
We got staff Jay Daniels, Herbert. That is the one good thing we got going for this team, pretty much. Obviously, we talked about Jaden Daniels. Sorry, a lot of potential there. Staff, that offense is going to eat. Herbert is. I've never been a Herbert guy, but he's underrated right now. Objectively, he's a good quarterback. This running back room weak. Eckler, Mostert, Gibby, Pirine. I don't want to start any of those guys. I don't know about y'all.
Nope. Mostert maybe is about it.
That's the all-star injured reserve team.
So we got a C+ for QB room. We got a C for running back room. Wide receiver room, I guess it's not terrible, but like who's the star? Keenan, Pickens, Kupp, Terry, Curtis, Samuel, Devonta, JMO. I mean, just a bunch of guys that like, man, if they're your 2 or your 3, that's solid. But good luck picking who are you going to pick each week. I did give him a B overall because it's good depth, so that's solid. But this tight end room, Gesicki and Higbee, that was my lowest grade of any room. They got a solid.
Yeah,
that's a D-, and I argued an F.
That's friendly.
Yeah. This tight end room is like the after photo of a before and after montage on intervention.
So this a lot of potential in 2018, though.
Maybe even. Yeah, this is by far their GPA score was a 2. No other team was below a 3.
Ooh, yeah,
sorry, Seahawks, but woof.
The rough thing about this team is it's not only tight ends for me, it's also running backs, which is super scary when you have Eckler and Mostert who are both aging. Antonio Gibson's never really amounted to anything, and Samaje Perine, who's, I mean, where is he buried somewhere at this point? Like, this team needs some work. This is another like blow up contender. I get you have guys like Devonta Smith, Terry McLaurin, if you want to mention him, but for the most part, if I'm him, I'm probably punting here. I'm probably going to trade Justin Herbert, even though it's tough to trade him right now. But I think you just ride out with Jaden Daniels and Matt Stafford and kind of hope that Jaden Daniels hits that upside. It's risky, but like for what you're doing right now, I think you need it. I mean, this team's aging quickly. I don't love a lot of the bench pieces outside of Devonta Smith. I mean, Samuel worries me. I don't think JMO is anything what we expected. This team's definitely on the lower end of teams, and I think it's just time to hit the drawing board again, honestly.
Is there anyone you would want to hold?
Sell.
Sure. Like, no way.
Blow it up.
Not really, honestly. I mean, I would just hold Jaden Daniels while he's on a rookie contract. But outside of that, I mean, it's kind of like throw it to the wind. If I'm honest, just get what you can.
I'm holding Daniels because
get something.
If Daniels pops,
I would hold Pickens.
If
Steve,
Daniels
just
pops,
for Steven to come in the chat. I got it off before you came in, Steven. I don't want to hear nothing out of you. I didn't see it.
I would hold Pickens. I'll take that any day of the week.
I'm good.
He is not a wide receiver 1. Any day of the week, I'll take that one.
Steven, I wish you can join the pod, bud.
I would hold Daniels just because if he pops, like that's a player that it's invaluable, man. So, and he probably will because we've seen in the past that you don't even have to be a good quarterback. If you run with volume as a quarterback, you're going to be a top fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter if you're actually good at the position. And if he is actually a good quarterback, he's going to be fantasy gold.
I think Justin Fields is your best comparable there in era last year, who I think if he would have played the whole season, that would have been probably top 5 quarterback with his start that he had. But I mean, you see it every year, these rushing quarterbacks. I mean, I think Justin Fields' first full season who didn't pass the ball was QB7 that year. I mean, I think sky's the limit for Jaden Daniels, especially if he can get that passing down. I get he did a lot of it, but a lot of it was schemed up very easily for him at LSU. I think he needs to make that step for the NFL. But I think it's a risk you have to take with this roster, especially given I'm sure you spent, it's one QB. So I guess you didn't spend great draft capital on Daniels. But, I mean, you got to start somewhere, and I think this is the year to do it. Especially with
I agree.
Outside of
the
your
concern
own.
I have
he's spending a third of his.
Go ahead, Alex.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was
you're
going to
good.
say he's spending a third of his salary cap on quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just worry about Daniels. Fields is 230. He got hurt. AR is 255. He got hurt. Allen's the only big guy that takes hits all the time that doesn't get hurt. Lamar is just Gumby out there. He never gets laid out. He's so good at getting hit halfway or just finding a way to avoid the big hit.
Jaden Daniels, Lamar.
He might be the worst. He might be the worst quarterback I've ever seen at avoiding big hits. Jaden Daniels got lit the hell up. And so if you're going to hold him, I get it. Potential cheap quarterback, especially with the other quarterbacks in the roster. My reason for selling is because everybody is high on his potential. That's my one thing.
More of the story is sell a quarterback.
Right. Okay, I think that wraps up every team. Okay, so let's roundtable it. And everybody just give who you think's going to win it all. Just one team. Who's your champion?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going to go. I guess I'll just go first. I'm going to go with the Packers, man. I know that the quarterback looks a little questionable here. You got to roll out with Watson. But the ceiling with Fields on your bench is scary for a playoff run. But it's the three-headed monster at running back combined with the overall, above average wide receiver room. They're not going to blow you away. But it's still just good. And Trey McBride, I think Green Bay is the team here. Dennis, what's up? Who you got?
I hate the Packers, but I like your team guy. I agree. If Fields can get the starter, that would change a lot of things. But if he's not the starter, then I don't think you got it. My team's the Rams. I just think there's no holes on that team. I think they have real high-end stars. But I'm cheering for Mr. No Prisoners because you got my guys.
Alex.
Yeah, that's your champion. Mr. No Prisoners. He's
from Denmark. Let's go.
I wanted to pick
Jalen Hurts,
Denmark.
AJ Brown stack. I'm on Ross St. Brown. I mean, Blake Corum, league winner season. Garrett Wilson finally got a quarterback. Kyle Pitts finally going to have a breakout. Mr. No Prisoners. Champion.
That's right.
2024.
Garrett season.
All right, Ryan, who you got?
Yeah, I'm rolling with my boy Schultz down there. I'm with Packers. I think they can overcome the quarterback space. I mean, I know I hate on it. You probably should still go get a quarterback, but I mean, those running backs are crazy. I know it's an old thing, but running backs are still king in fantasy. And with these three, I think you're gonna have a problem. I mean, A-Chain's upside this year is nuts. This whole team can be anchored by those three, and everything else is kind of a bonus. I mean, Amari Cooper gets a lot of hate, but he's consistently inside the top 25, 30 receivers year in, year out. But still waiting for Olave to break out. And with Neighbors on your bench and Trey Benson, who are two guys that I think can break out this year, Benson probably more towards the later half of the season, this team's pretty stacked. And given only having a mid-level quarterbacks with Watson and Fields, I still think they can overcome.
It's crazy that the running backs, like if you told any, like even casual fantasy player, if you took any fantasy player and said, hey, if Breece Hall, Bijan, and Achane were the 1, 2, and 3 this year, would you be shocked? They'd be like, no. I mean, obviously it would require McCaffrey getting hurt probably, but still, like, imagine, like, that is completely in the realm of possibilities with that team. That's just bananas.
Yeah.
I just feel in one
honorable
QB,
mention.
You need an elite QB to actually win it all, because you could be giving up 10, 15 points. But I've also never had a team or seen a team in a 10 QB, 10 league or 12 league team that has that level of running backs. That's insane.
Right. My honorable mention is Buffalo because of Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey stack I talked about earlier. That's just going to be an unfair advantage rolling into every week.
I gave mine already. Mr. No Prisoners.
Mr. No Prisoners is my honorable mention too. That's probably my second team. Yeah.
All right. There you
Alex
have
and
it.
I, baby. Alex
LA
and
Rams.
I.
This is going to be a really competitive season, so we get to do follow-ups, right? On
Midway
this?
point, we'll see him again.
2.
Yeah.
Cool.
We got a mid-season and we got a postseason. So
I love that.
We're gonna ride with
All
this
right,
league
before
all
we-
season long.
Before we get out of here, everybody, what, Dennis? What do you want?
I was gonna say, I hope they reach out to us and if there's big trades or anything, because I don't know how to see any league history in this league, in this forum, this site. So
Yeah, you can't
please,
see the
if
transactions.
Right. If you can DM us or something, we have all of our Twitter handles, and let us know if anything big happens, because we're invested in this league, so we want to know.
Yes. So what I was going to say here is,
Yeah, we can't even see the scoring.
we'll just go around real quick and just plug yourself, your Twitter, whatever. If you got any content or anything to pump out there, Dennis, hit us up.
I'm at Madison_Madman. Please DM me any advice, or if you hated what I had to say. I'm guessing Seahawks had some words.
Some fighting words.
I'm going to DM you right now.
All right, Alex, what you got?
All right. Well, just follow everything we do at Yards for Fantasy, yardsforfantasy.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is not our YouTube channel. This is our channel just specifically for these.
It's our
Just
burner.
find Yards for Fantasy on YouTube. We are blowing up right now. We're blowing up, and we got some good stuff coming this season. So hit us up there.
Yeah. Ryan, call me Deli. It's what I go by. I'm at FF Deli. Find me on Twitter. I'm not active in posts, but if you need any help, any advice, reach out. I go live with Alex on Yards Per. Proud to do so. We try to go weekly, if not bi-weekly. I mean, we're kind of a little bit of a rat right now in the off season, but once the in season starts, we're pumping out stuff. Yards Per to the moon, baby. We're still growing.
Yes, the moon mission. Moon mission is always on. Catch me on Twitter at Schultz, SCHU1TZY. Other than that, if you guys play Redraft, go on YouTube, look up the Fantasy Forecast. That's a podcast or a show I produce with the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. Go follow the Dynasty Pulse for your Dynasty stuff. We're going to talk to you there too on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. Fantasy Football Plus Network and the Undroppables Network. And I think that's about all we got. Anyone got anything else?
How dare you plug
Jaguars suck.
You did not do that and end the stream.
How come no one's a Bears fan?
I love it.